Hey there team, so this is a battle from a heck of a long time ago. Well, it's way back in August actually. It's one of my own. Don't know really why it took me so long to get around to this, but yeah, I have. I've been sort of tidying up my battle reports recently, so a lot of my replays have kind of popped up and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't actually do a video for this one. I'm playing as Rudour here, which is definitely tied for my favourite faction, I'd say, and I play them a lot in sieges and on field battles too, whereas Cardinal I tend to only really play on field battles. It's a pretty basic or pretty normal setup for me, with my two Rudour marksmen out front, backed up by some armour upgraded Rudour clansmen. Best sort of armour you can really get for Rudour. Then two of these Herenidane pikes, a single Herenidane pikes alongside two Dunman pikes. Behind them I have four nice beefy units of Rudour swordsmen. I can't lie, in recent months the Rudour axemen have been growing on me. So I don't really use as many Rudour swordsmen nowadays as I used to. Two of my Etmore troll hunters, and some Reforged javelins there. Some more Rudour clansmen at the back. There's quite a lot of Rudour clansmen actually I've got today. Yeah, that's only one unit of Rudour clansmen up front and then one behind. And then some Witch Realm enslavers and some Herenidane berserkers in the back. And then I also grabbed some Coldfell maidens. I think it's always a good idea to really grab some maidens are great generally because they will counter enemy cav, but then they are also javelin soldiers if the enemy don't bring any cavalry. I thought that deployment would take a little bit longer, but we'll just slow it on down to say 0.2 so we still get a bit of movement, a bit of shuffling around. Makes it a lot more interesting than everybody's standing perfectly still. To my right I have Derek playing as Isengard. He's got his Isengard crossbows there with some Uruk-hai archers. The nice long line here of Uruk-hai pikes with some Uruk-hai raiders on the side here, two units of them. Then some Uruk-hai infantry behind them. They've just all been given the order to move. That was quite a nice sort of call in unison from their forces. Uruk-hai reavers behind them, three of them, making up for my lack of AP in melee. Some Nazhai, some Baneguard, again more AP in melee. I think that's them with an armor upgrade actually. Yeah, no, it looks like it. And then some Uruk-hai berserkers in the back, no longer with an armor upgrade, which I think is better. I think the ability to give Uruk-hai berserkers an armor upgrade is just a bit, I just don't think it's necessary. Then we've got Eric 420 Bell here playing as Gondor. He's got his Penethgallan cavalry. A trebuchet has been brought today, and some Gondor cav. No upgrades for them. He's got Gondor infantry, lots of Gondor infantry. Actually, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry. No, 7. Wait. Yeah, that is 8. Jeepers. That's definitely into the red limit there from Eric. And no armor upgrades for the boys either. Some Gondor spearmen in front of them. And then some axemen. 2 units of axemen there. Fountain Guard. And then some Gondorian archers, 2 of them. And some civilians out front. No armor upgrades all around, but going with the red limit on the Gondorian infantry is probably the reason for that. And also the cav aren't cheap. Then we've got a nerdy egg over here playing as Angmar. He's got his Witchers. And some Guardians of Carndum. Next some Angmar Halberdiers. Black Watch Legion there, along with a line of these Witch Realm Pikes. Some Good to Bad Guard right there, nice and armoured. Some Goblin Trackers and Scourge Raiders there. Again, armour upgrade for the Scourge Raiders, as we usually see. Then some more Angmar Halberdiers, some Trolls here, Trolls of Gundabad, and the Guardians of Carndum. Now I don't see any other Trolls, so he's only going for one Troll today, which I think is pretty sensible. We saw the Goblin Band there too. You don't often see the Goblin Band. You know, people don't really seem to feel the use for them anymore. Now go back to normal speed as the defenders shuffle into position. We give them time to sort of move inside first. So the first of these defenders is Cole here, playing as Dol Amroth. He has his line of Tirith Air marksmen and Tol Falas marines moving on forward. This looks like, no, that's just the leader of the marksmen. that is a Wanderer of Nimrodel though, that we can spot. Some more Tol Falas Marines, some Halberdiers, and more Halberdiers there too. The next swarm of Dol Amroth forces is over here as the armoured up Edhilland Men-at-Arms, or Edhilland Men-at-Arms are there. Some Tornassian Spearmen. We're seeing some Black Swan Renegades mixed in. Untitled Champions even popping up too. Seeing some armoured up Pikes by the looks of things. Some more of these Untitled Champions up the front, and even some Haven Guard. And that's that, with some more Halberdiers and Pikes leading the way. Of course, the Halberdier, well, of course, units in Phalanx that with that slight speed bonus that they get are going to be making that distance quite quick. Then we have Token here with his Dwarves of Khazad-dûm. His Hammerers of Gundabad, 2 units of them. Mithril Guard there, a Ballista. And we've got the Treb, so we can outrange that. 3rd Legion Infantry, some Shield Guard there, 4th Legion, some Axe Guard, 2 units of these Orc Hunters, and some more Warriors and a 1st Legion Pike. So pretty numbers heavy. Sentries of Khazad-dûm even popping up there. Laying down some stakes at the side of this gate. Then the last defender is Noah, playing as Mirkwood today. He's got his Hirioth, some Hiri Ek, some more Hiri Ek right there. Up on the top of this hill, we have some Hiri Peng, 2 units of Hiri Peng. And that is that I'm seeing. There's always going to be something hidden around from Mirkwood, you would expect anyway. Some Bows of Imendure right here. Elven King's Palace Guard, and the Sindar of the Girdle standing there too. Anything up on the top of the hill right now? Usually there is, yes. Some Hiri Peng standing watch over Death Valley. Nothing in the mouth of Death Valley though, not yet. Some Hirioth moving up into position. Some Hiri Lang, and some more Hiri Lang standing ready. Some Hirioth moving through that building right now. And that is about that. Probably some Mirkwood forces up on this hilltop. No, there are not. Okay, cool. So that is that, really. We're going to be moving up into position for a little while. Might end up having to do a cut, but let's just find a nice place to nestle ourselves and go 2 times speed, I think, for the time being. Yeah, this is a fun little battle. I will say it right now. I actually named this battle 2v4. The reason for that is because Noah ends up having to pop out quite quickly. But because of the placement of his units, that's actually something I'll definitely want to talk about as the game goes on. Because of the way that Noah's units are placed, when he leaves, it's really not it's not the end of the world. Quite far from it, really. And as I say, we'll explain that as we go on. Tol Falas is definitely one of my favourite maps. I think it's definitely a map that I think defenders can go 3v5. There's a lot of maps that's just not possible for defenders, or it's not possible unless there's a real sort of skill gap between attackers and defenders. But Tol Falas gives defenders a lot of tools. And it's a very sort of natural looking map, which I really appreciate. I think there's a lot of maps that are so much fun to play on, but then when you actually look at them, they appear just so unnatural. It's like there's no way that this could be formed in real life. And but this, from the look of it, yes, that little hilltop here is a shooting platform, but it passes off as just a natural thing. So Noah is opening fire here, so we'll go back to 1 speed, and we've actually got the Bows of Imendure emerging as well. Bows of Imendure charging out to open fire on some nice and unprotected pikemen there. It's quite high damage, of course, from these Bows of Imendure. Very fragile are those guys, but when you're firing right into the front of these pikemen, which we really rely on, these pikes, it's a bit scary. So I was really taking my sweet ass time to move up. I just didn't feel there was any rush. But saying this, my maidens are having to force their way through a horde of Uruk-hai, really just sort of knocking men down as we try and just get forward and wipe out those Bows of Imendure. Crossbows are responding to them because we need some response to them. They've actually not knocked out as many men as I thought they would, but they've taken out a few. So I'm hurling off my javelins. Now this is definitely a mistake on my part. I shouldn't be doing this, but I was just worried at this time that I might actually end up losing sight of them. But this is really a bit of a waste of ammunition. All I have to do is I have to catch them. It's not really, you know, every javelin I throw is a bit unnecessary. But still, I'm more. This is I had only just started really using the Coldfell Maidens at the time of this battle, and I think I've gotten a fair bit better with them, and I know their limits better, so to say. So charge it up, and I'm just sort of picking away at them now. And because of the way I've sort of got them here, they're a bit trapped. They could sort of move around me, but there's really not much ability to do that. So I just have to. I should have grabbed them here and shoved them on forward a little bit, just to grab a few more of them, because he's just got them on the guard mode, really, just firing away at me, which is pretty smart, I think. But yeah, they're dropping like flies, and I'm losing a few Coldfell Maidens, but this is their purpose. I'm happy enough to lose them like this. And that is dandy. So, all in all, I had my Rudar marksman as well running forward just to shoot at them if I had to. But luckily I didn't. Luckily that was just unnecessary. All in all, the pikemen didn't actually... You're seeing a few casualties there. Had those bows of Emendure been able to just empty their quivers on this front line, we would have lost a hell of a lot of the pikes, but no, we caught them nice and early, and I think Derek would have been able to sort it out, but he would have just used up a lot of the crossbow ammunition, which isn't what we want. I did see that. I did spot that fire from the trebuchet. There it is. So where's that coming into? No, nothing there, of course. But I think it's just hitting. Ah, there was a nice beefy blob. This is, well, yeah. I could see that being worth it for the treb. Another hit from the treb there. It's. How are these shots coming out? Yeah, you really don't want to have any misses is the problem here. If you're shooting in this sort of formation. The only reason that I'm thinking that this is justified is because these are elves. These are Hirioth, so or Elf, and I think it's worthwhile in that case to be using some trebuchet ammo on them like this. But I don't know. I probably wouldn't have given them again a good hit, but I'd probably hold my ammunition right now, wait for them to get a bit more clumped up when the battle actually begins, or the combat on that end actually begins. We've got some dwarves running forward right now. You just poor guy's already winded, but he just feels the need to get over there. And we've not started to push this line right now. They've got the halberdiers here, heavily armoured, but still no shield means that a good bit of arrow fire to their face is going to hurt them. Yeah, you see, so at the end of the day, Coldfell Maidens are not exceptional. So I did lose a few of them here. Not great armour on them, so a lot of them took losses to that, but to the arrow fire. But when we really got into the nitty gritty of it, we were dropping them without taking any losses, too many anyway. So I shouldn't have used many of my javelins there. Far too much of their ammunition was sort of wasted, I think. Got my marksman, just waiting for a good opportunity to use them. Ah, here, yeah, so I've said it before, my general deal is I like to just use up the enemy's ammunition. As long as I've got a few of my archers left, I'm happy. So it would have been much better if these were Dunman hunters, but I was happy enough to let Noah use his arrows on my Rudar marksman like this. You know, pretty wasteful, I know. And because you can't really get a proper spread on that bridge, but all in all, I'm okay with it. It happened. Not really how I would have handled things now, I don't think, but I'm still very much in the kind of wasteful mindset of yeah, my archers are not how I'm going to win this battle, so let's just use up some elven arrows on them. And as much damage as I've taken, I've had him use up a heck of a lot of volleys from these guys. So yeah, if I can just use it, if I can suffer the entire loss of this Rudar marksman force for just using up an entire 4 units worth of ammunition, I think that's a decent trade. Over here, Tol men at arms actually sort of advancing forward a little bit. Crossbow fire coming into their face. Yeah, they're receiving fire from probably some of these Tier 3 marksmen. Interesting. Yeah, I agree with that actually. How are our allies doing for on this side? It's unusual. This isn't how I've usually seen Tol Falas, get carried out right now. But I've not really seen it be done in a 3v4 scenario for a while. Usually you get, three armies on the right, on the larger area, and then 1.5 really on the left, and then the other half army just floating about. So this is 2 armies coming down the Valley of Death, and then 2 of us coming through the open area. If I was to look at this with a more experienced mindset now, I definitely think that's not the way to go for it. I think Death Valley is just such a defensible position, that you can't really do that. You need to have more men over here where the width of the battlefield is larger. Tol men at arms getting engaged by these Uruk-hai infantry. I'm sending a few. Oh, sorry, these are the Uruk-hai archers actually. I'm trying to take credit for that. Shots coming into the right hand side, which is nice. No shields on that right hand side. I've got my Rudar marksman moving up. I'm seeing the opportunity to try and waste some of this ammunition. That's why. Now, how has that archer force managed to make it out? There's 4 left, and as I say, I think that this is maybe when Noah might no longer be in the battle, because even though you are getting some kills here, you're really not going to be hitting the last few of my guys. All in all, so they're out. We've still got the Orc Hunters up here, and I think there is still another hidden unit. No, this is Hiri paying up here now. No, so they've still got the seat. So yeah, no, they're out of ammunition now. I've lost an entire unit of Rudar marksmen. Maybe that's not worth it, but hey, it's the way it went. I think if I could have gotten away with that with still having 30 Rudar marksmen, I would still make that sort of trade now. But I'm down to 3 Rudar marksmen after all that. I just don't think it's worth it. 8 more Troll Hunters. Managed to get them over here. I'm just kind of wanting to volley some javelins into the front of these halberdiers. Because those halberds are gonna have they're gonna have a good chance of beating down the Uruk-hai pikes in front of them when they do manage to make contact. I'm getting shot at. Is it just from these men hitting me from the side? I'm getting my shield coming into effect there, and they do have quite a nice shield, these Etmor Troll Hunters. But they're going to be dropping like flies. Etmor Troll Hunters, of course, have decent spears and melee, so you don't really want to lose all of them. They're not really like snagga skirmishers that are just there for the javelins. You want them later on too. But still, I was getting some good volleys on this front line, so I was happy enough to continue it. Those men at arms are just a little bit too far back. He does see that, Cole sees that, and he backs away into the cover. I might get another backstab on them. No, yeah, a few more dropped. So I was happy enough with that. They've still got some javelins to go, and a really good arm on those guys. Even dropping a few more. Yeah, that's pretty good. Normally, this would be one of our jobs to sort of be pressuring down these bridges, but I was just not really confident enough at this time to do that, and also the Hiriek here, and also the just supreme archer power that he's got arrayed in front of me, so I was just not wanting to push across those bridges right now. I was happy enough to kind of just keep peppering away at this side, keep engaging here, and just assisting our ally. This is why I think as well it's a better idea to maybe have a few more people here, like, because you've kind of just, as I say, there's more entrances over this way than there is down Death Valley. Tier 3 marksman, unleashing some good fire there. But we are responding to it with some Uruk-hai crossbows, and I think even my own marksman. They're getting some good shots into these pikes and Uruk-hai infantry on the front line. continuing to volley away with my troll hunters. But I don't really take, usually when people take Rude Hour to a siege, you know, they'll be bringing the axe throwers and everything. I don't really take as many throwing weapons as most Rude Hour players do. You know, I've got my Reforged javelins back there, which I'll be saving, or at least saving for a little while. But usually, I have used axe throwers in the past, and I do like them, but it's just not really the way I like to play Rude Hour. We've got a nice engagement here with these Gondorian infantrymen sort of battling away with these axemen. This is normally a fight where the Gondorian infantry would do quite well, but well, they'd kind of pound for pound be doing all right up against these axemen. They have been doing okay. They're having to walk through some of this miasma as the trebuchet has maybe run out of ammunition right now, which would be a terrible shame. But even if it is run out of ammunition right now, it's being hammered away at by the ballista. Getting some good shots. Have we taken down? It looks like there's only one ballista left. Yeah, no, there's two. So there was clearly some counter battery fire going on, but that ballista has won. Ballista is now, I'm really happy with the buffs that the ballista's received. I like it a lot. It's made it a lot better at just counting enemy artillery. And the trebuchet is tough to be countered. Even though I have been talking a lot about, you know, how I think it's better to have fewer people over on this side, the defenders have been focusing a lot of tension over here, and we are kind of by ourselves on this end, fighting against Dol Amroth and a few of these AFK units off the elves. So I really feel that, you know, this is just Dol Amroth. I know there's a few warriors of Khazad-dûm dotted around, but I think we could be being a bit more aggressive on this side. Get more warriors of Khazad-dûm, but still, I don't know. I kind of regret how passive I was, while our allies over there are kind of struggling. Yeah, we're keeping a lot in reserve. Reforged javelins, don't really want to use them at this time. Good AP in melee too. They use the big old clubs, I like them. That ballista, now that the trebuchet is dead and gone, or it's not quite dead and gone, but it does seem to be fully out of ammunition now, the treb, as its crew are rushing forward. Let's watch them fight, because I really, you know, they're taking a fair bit of a beating. But this is just such a nuisance because he's running through his own sort of morale dampening miasma, and as I say, I really don't think. I think if you're on the attack, you just shouldn't use it. It's the rotting meat is always going to be. It's not always, but I see it being a detriment to attackers more often than I see it being a bonus to them. And yeah, as you can see, a lot of these elves are just sort of on autopilot right now. So that's luckily. But as I say, Noah's positioned them well, and I had a free for all recently. I don't think I saved that free for all, but my ally was kicked from the game, rightly so. He was unfortunately lagging out, but he was kicked from the game right after the deployment phase. Actually, during the deployment phase, sorry. So it was a lot of fun for me to kind of use my army within his units, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, it was cool. It was quite a fun experience. So if I do have it, I'd like to maybe make a weird little video just about like what was I thinking, as I try and explain why I did what I did there. Rude Hour swordsmen, they're decent morale on them. I do appreciate the morale of Rude Hour swordsmen. They can kind of go toe to toe in this sort of situation with some units that are really sort of a bit better than them. And their numbers help them a lot as well, but this is one situation where the axemen maybe could be faring a fair bit better. Still with my troll hunters, just kind of rattling shots. See, maybe what I should have done with them here is taken them around to this side, because I'm going right into the front of these warriors, so their shields are coming into effect. Whereas if I had lined them up back there, you know, I'd maybe be hitting the side of that unit. You know, of this blob fight here. Let's get a better look at that, just sort of see how the thickness of the lines are. Yeah, so as you can see, our blob is way thicker than theirs. And this is kind of what they want, but as I say, I should be pushing across those bridges. This is me kind of showing, at this stage, a lot more of my sort of unconfidence, well, lack of confidence, in kind of doing those sorts of movements. You know, I've always liked fighting by myself, but that was, you know, attacking across those 3 bridges by myself was kind of beyond me. So I was much more willing to just assist the Urukai in their attack. Vanguard coming forward now. Troll Hunters, yeah, you see, they've still got ammunition. But near enough everything has been sent into the fight right now. I don't know, I should just be moving right there. Don't know why I'm not. But even then, like, you can see, we really should come forward with an absolutely brutal charge here. I should get one of my Rudar clansmen up here, because once we bust through that line, there's a unit of Black Swan Renegades in reserve up here. A lot more things that can be pulled in, but still, you know, we should be going for it. Guardians of Carndum clashing against the Shield Guard. Defenders were almost sort of done here, but they managed to sort of retake these positions. Gondorian infantry wavering, but broken through. Important now to just get around behind them, break this unit. Yeah, still a very beefy force there waiting for them. How are these units up top here? Yeah, so you can see all these units have used up their ammo. So that's a good thing as well. If you're going to leave the game, just have your units set to fire at will. So that at least, even if they're using their ammunition on fodder, as was sort of the case with some of these elven units, it's still dead enemies. What have we got here? Dunman Pikes? Oh, I thought that was what's left. I've still got some archers. That unit still exists somewhere. I don't know where though. Yeah, I'm not sure where I've really got it. No. Nope. There we are. These 2 Rudar marksmen. The only survivors of that bridge assault. So, still got all the team's ammo. So I'll be trying to use that up through the game. So I am preparing now for an attack. Against the AFK Hiriek. Hiripeng, they're out of ammunition. What about these Hiripeng? Are they out? They are not out. So that's a concern. Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm moving over here now, because as I say, they're able to do that. We're not pushing the bridges, or I'm not pushing the bridges, so they feel free to head over here. More Troll Hunters, they're out of ammunition. Rudar Marksmen, you see, I moved the Rudar Marksmen into a good position to just get some side shots. They're not really able to pull it off now, but they were there for a while. Like, but had this been... How are you guys doing? No, that's unfortunate. That's not what I want. Might have just had them on fire at will for a moment just to see. Or maybe I just got a different idea of where they're... just a different perspective of them. These Troll Hunters though, still got some ammo. Black Swan Renegades, a lot of people don't really like them too much. I accept that, but I don't know, they're AP, that's kind of their deal. Enslavers, I've moved up forward. You might have caught sight of an enslaver or two. Where are they? There's one. Witch-realm enslavers, I felt I really needed to send something forward that was quite brutal into this confrontation. And they've been holding themselves quite well. We've got some up and over fire from these Orc Hunters, so that was nice to see. So we are coming across the bridge now. Dunman Pikes leading the way. As I say, did I just not notice the archers up there? Because those Dunman Pikes get ripped apart in response to that. Dunman Pikes leading the push on that left side too. Rudar Swords, so I've gone for a Dunman and Rudar Swordsman. Dunman Pikes and Rudar Swordsman mixing up together. Yes, you're seeing these men getting dropped real fast now. And that's the archers on that hillside. So, I should have had the Rudar Swordsman leading the push. Because you can see already, they've been taken down. As the Dunman Pike get into position, a few of them are turning the wrong way. But they need to get themselves sorted out. Rudar Swordsman coming forward. Cole is backing up. You see, this is the thing, when you've got an AFK ally, you know, it's important to kind of watch what they're doing, you know, and or watch what is happening to their units more clearly, and try and just assist it wherever you can. A lot of spears in this position. Oh god, they're really struggling to get their pikes down. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Maybe what I really should have done, instead of coming forward with a Rudar swordsman alongside them, I should have come with a Rudar clansman and sort of just tried to buckle this immediately, because a more chaotic fight would have benefited me. What are we at generally? 29 for 26. I'm generally happy with that. On the attack, I'm usually quite happy with that sort of situation. Enslavers here having a bit of trouble, but their heavy armor up against the Black Swan Renegades, that's not going to help them too much, but their armor piercing themselves. More Parrot Hill champions moving forward though. What about our brothers over at the valley? That sounds like a confrontation. Well, let's peek over this hillside. Yes, nice little Gondorian archers have been launched in first. The incredible phalanx of the Fountain Guard, kind of bouncing off the incredible skill of the Hiri Lang. Trebuchet team, some of them are still alive there. So just engaging. The Fountain Guard have managed to come into their role there, and they're dealing with them quite nicely now, as they really should. More Gondorian infantry coming forward. As I say, I think this is one of, Eric at this time was pretty new. That's why his army composition is maybe a little bit kooky. Not that you don't want a lot of Gondorian infantrymen on the field. Yeah, so I'm getting kind of minced here. And there's still so many of these damn Hiriek. I've really just been dying in droves there. Rudar clansmen coming forward in shield wall. I say, just trying to bust open this position. Receiving a hell of a lot of arrow fire. Knights of the Silver Swan though, that's basically the death knell for me. I don't have anything here that can sort of put a dent in them. Even though they're not actually too impressive for an elite men-at-arms force. I view them much more as kind of in the same line as, like, I'd say, a Goblin King bodyguard type thing. They're there for the morale buff and for the support, rather than they are the actual killing power of themselves. These crossbowmen have found that good position that I was talking about. As my MO Troll Hunters have just emptied out their ammunition. My Rudar marksmen here, trying to get some nice close range volleys. Generally with them, at this stage, I'm kind of happy with whatever I'm getting. What we've got here is some Urukai Reavers launching themselves forward. How's the shape of this position changed? Yeah, a lot more mass is coming onto our side of it now. And they're really starting to run low, boys there. The Orc Hunters standing back here can get thrown into melee pretty comfortably. Parrot Hill Champions waiting for their chance. And then these two Hammerers of Gundabad are waiting as well. Mithril Guard can just be thrown in at any time. See, my pushes across the bridge, I know they're not going to work. But it's just kind of any units that I'm tying up here are units that can't be sent up to that choke point. And that's kind of that's what you've got to kind of just deal with sometimes as an attacker. You've got to just know that yes, your push isn't going to work, but that's not the thing. But I'm kind of done with going across there and just having my men massacred for really not much gain. So even though that this is definitely not the efficient thing to do, I'm going to be coming through to the land bridge at this time. I just feel it's going to serve me better. So that's where I'm getting everything. I don't really have any reserves at that point.
We've lost half of our men.
Hey, there we go. So yeah, that's me down to half of my boys now. Coalfell Maidens are still there. They've still got a few javelins, but as I say, I was kicking myself for just I shouldn't have used those javelins in the earlier game. Rudar marksmen here. It looks like they're out of ammunition. Oh, don't get in the way of those crossbows. But overall, we are winning in this position. The Reavers, along with a few of my men, are mainly the Reavers. Actually, the Reavers have been saved quite well. Just get underneath a lot of the enemy archer fire, get them all used up, and then send the Reavers forward, because the Reavers will die in droves to even basic archers. They'll fall away. Over in Death Valley, the attack is properly going now. A lot of these Gondorian infantry just battering away at the Heary line. First Legion Pikes, it's the lack of AP and the excess of dwarves over here. The only units that I think are really going to be racking up massive kills right now are with the Fountain Guard. And again, over on this side, 2 Angmars really sort of lacking in AP too. It's yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky position to break through. When you have dwarves and elves fighting side by side in this manner, that's you need something really special to break through that. More Witch Realm Pikes coming forward now though. Gondorian archers and some more Angmar halberdiers. Axemen of Wasanak, there we go, that's our AP. But they need to work their way to the front of the line, another unit of Axemen. Gondorian Spearmen, of course not, but Citadel Guard would be nice in this scenario too. Pinithgill and Cav, still a nice beefy unit off them, but I don't know, Wanderers of Nimrodale opening up here. Yeah, I could see the Axemen being a tempting target for that. These Axemen, of course, lacking any armor upgrades, so... Or maybe that's maybe 1 level? Yes, with Axemen, I will always give them the 2 levels of armor upgrade. I think heavily armored Axemen is something that is quite a rarity. You know, it's so when you can use them, it can be pretty great. I'm coming forward now with just about everything. I've got my Hereditary Berserkers coming up here. Radar Marksmen giving a quick charge. I probably should have just left them out of it, allowed the Uruk-hai infantry to do that, or maybe got my Hereditary Berserkers in there. Orc Hunters coming forward now. Have I got another engagement here? Yes, something here. I think this was my Rudar Clansmen that unfortunately fell away on this hill, or this bridge. But as bad as that confrontation was for me, we have not used up their ammo. Damn it. That's all we had. What are they firing at? Ah, some routing men. That's a shame. Yeah, see, as I say, oh, they took him out. They did get him. But that was an entire volley that one guy used up on him. Yeah, one arrow went right through his head right there. Yeah, that's cool. The Mithril Guard are like covered in these runes and stuff. Nice. I'd say it's just one of the best things about this is just sort of kind of like looking at all the models in higher graphics. And just because you do a lot of these little things just pop out that you don't really spot when you're just playing it day to day. Hereditary Berserkers thrown in now. Frodrum Javelins, I should be saving their ammo. I don't think I do. I think I use their ammo. Which is a shame, because I should save it. I should save it for when I really need it in the later stages. Maybe not. Ah, damn it. Peridot Champions, though. I think, are they my target? If the Peridot Champions are my target, yep. Okay, no, I do not regret. I do not regret. Coalfell Maidens moving up now, kind of blocking the shot from the Frodrums. Oh god, are the Frodrums out of javelins? Ah, I think it is, damn. Coalfell Maidens coming into this same position now. Just wiping out that unit of Peridot Champions is something I'm happy with. Hammerers of Gundabad coming forward now. Their excessive amount of AP is going to be kind of wasted on me. There's still a lot of these Uruk-hai on the front line though. Uruk-hai Raiders? Nah, not really what you want for them either. Peridot Champions thrown in now, but very badly beaten. And I think my Troll Hunters will do alright against them. Frodrum Javelins are nothing to be scoffing at too in melee. Let's zoom on over here again. Yes, more Gondorian archers, still with their ammunition, coming forward now. The trolls, yeah, I think this is a pretty good time to throw the trolls in. They're going to disappear quite quickly up against these very high damage units of the elves. Belfast Marines have been coming forward now, at least they've used up their ammo. Let's have a look at how this is developing there. It's a pretty thick line still for the defenders there, and it's a thick dwarven line too. So that's not fun. The Penthgill and Cav, I think they're trying to force their way through, but I disagree with that. I absolutely adore the tips of the lances for the Penthgill and Cav. I just think they're really pleasant to look at. Which kind of sucks because my Gondor composition now, I don't use Penthgill and Cav. So maybe I should try just for the sake of it, but no, I've gone off them. See, I don't know. I disagree. I know he's getting men through, but which he can come in for a quick rear charge, or he can just chase some stuff around. But this is again the Sindar of the Girdle. If Noah had been here, then Sindar could be wiping that unit out right now. No, and yeah, nothing there. Cole's still got a few things just in case we rattle around and get in there, but this he is aware that this is it's a skeleton crew standing by now. My berserkers are kind of dropping. As good as the berserkers are now, I really like that they got bumped up to being an elite unit. Like the berserkers is where I put my general nowadays, so I'm pretty fond of them. But you know, they're still they can die quick. As powerful as they are, as how much damage they can do, and relatively to the rest of the Rudar roster, how skilled they are, they can still die quick. And as you're seeing that like right now. So this push, I was about to say it's generally me at this point, but no, there's a lot of Urukai infantry still remaining. So I think Derek's taking sort of a well-deserved little rest there, and you know, I'm trusting him to deal with the rest. Colfal Maidens out of ammunition now. Gosh, their poor spearheads look puny in comparison to the Penofgel and Cav. Speaking of them, how have they gone on? Ah, they've sort of been responded to by the Belfast Marines. They need to make sure they don't get caught is the thing. But so many of them have just died there. Whitram Inquisitors managing to work their way through as well. So again, something that the Sindar could go toe to toe with, but the other defenders just don't have anything. So I wasn't really aware that this Cav play was happening actually at the time. So it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, I'd maybe get the Penofgel and Cav around here. I know it's not a big charge, but you can maybe pull it off. Even then, it's just sort of a moment of like fear that might cause a rout. These Belfast Marines, you're going to be racking up some good kills there, and I know he's wanting to break through there so that he can slam the backs, but if you break here, as these Inquisitors are trying to do, damn, maybe it was just too small a position. Damn, that's a cool dude. Yeah, I've never really looked at the captain of the Whitram Inquisitors. And the general is in that unit too. What have we got? No, nothing. Yeah, that's that. Let's go back on over here, see what's what. What is another thing I really like about Tol Falas is, you know, it has ended in lots of different ways in recent battle reports. It's cool to see just like how it's changed, and you know, like the different ways that people can sort of form a last stand. You know, there's many battles I've seen where it's actually ended up over here. You know, it's so that's quite nice. You know, up on this little ledge here, you can even pull all the way to this very top section. Jeepers. Yeah. Yeah, you can go basically to our deployment zone along that line. Yeah, that's crazy. So I think that that's important for us all to kind of just examine maps and kind of think about like, what is a weird way that I could play this? What's a different way that I could try and do a battle here? Hammers of Gundabad just kind of getting surrounded there. I've got my Hereditary Berserkers around the side. I think I maybe sent a volley in of my axes. I should be running at them. There we go, we're charging now. For some reason, I don't know what it is about the Hereditary Berserkers, but they always make me think of dwarves. Yeah, I think it's just a mixture of the helmet, the big shield. You know, and kind of just their very hunched posture. You know, they always just seem like dwarves to me. And but then when you see them standing side by side with dwarves, you think, oh right, yeah, no, you are human. Hey there, team. I think this is about where I was. The Hammers of Gundabad are falling on back, and I'm sending my Coldfell Maidens forward, I think. Yes, hopefully, in a moment. And as for the rest of the front, I don't think No. Oh yes, I do. Yep, I've got some men moving on down now. As this position is starting to break, I know that there will be no more reinforcements here. So I'm starting to gather some men to make a final push across this bridge. And that is dandy. Now, yeah, no, I'll jump across here, see what's going on this side of the battlefield again. They're continuing to just slam in and out with their... Oh wait, oh crumbs. Ah, yes, unfortunately, I went quite a bit early. Yeah, as we can see. Actually, no, I didn't. Because I think they've been hit here. Because they were definitely just making their way out. Ah, whoops, sorry about that. I suppose the hammers are going to bad go back up again then. Yeah. Oh well, I'll continue on from here anyway, because I didn't mention that. And so I'm coming on down here now again with some Rudar swordsmen leading the way, because I know they are out of ammunition now. That's fantastic. So, but still, I've got the Rudar swordsmen running up front, backed up by some Herenidine pikes. With this, I don't really want to spread out. I don't really have all that many men left, so I just want to come down hard here. The Herenidine pike are, of course, pretty damn good. I've got my Rudar swordsmen running up ahead right now because I don't want to make the same mistakes I did last time, and I don't want to get shot, just in case there is a hidden unit of Mirkwood forces somewhere. That's funny. Yeah, alright, cool. So let's see this collision here now. I really should have probably led the way with my pikes though. But this unit of Heriek will be quite badly injured, and a full unit of Rudar swordsmen should be able to deal with them, you'd hope. Then apart from that, zoom on back here. Yeah, continuing slams from the Witch Realm Inquisitors really should whittle through that position. Even though they're not really pulling off brutal charges, it should do alright. Tol Falas Marines and some Orc Hunters are chasing down these Penethgalen Cav, down to 16 now. And they've sort of been spread out a bit. That's not what they want, they need to stay together. And they did alright, they did reconnect. Oh, almost. Yeah, no, they made it. This position, as we can see from here, this position is almost busted up now. Forces are actually being pulled away from it. And the defender, oh, they're pulled away from it to try and counter these Inquisitors, I see. But the defenders really don't have too much left now. They're pulling these reserves up the hill. And they'll be doing the same with the rest momentarily. Yes, I see. Okay, cool. This is the point we're at. Yeah, well, I'm glad I started earlier. Just that we caught what's going on down at the bridge. My Herenidine pike involved in the fight now, handling things quite well. But we can see the Dol Amroth men are moving on back. I've got another unit of Rudar clansmen waiting there. Or kind of raiders? No. I'd say everything of mine is either just in reserve or has been set into the fight. Good. Now where we crashed, hopefully won't do it again. My Cav running forward again. Just try and get a few slams into the back of those hammer guard. Oh no, good. Just the hammerers, even not the hammer guard. And also charge around behind and relieve this force. Get us through those bridges. Or get us across those bridges. So I think I only really I grab a few of them, but then we have a bit of a discussion, and at the same time we are outnumbering them substantially, and we are going to be. I'm going to grab a few more elves to kill, but we're not going to kill every elf on this battlefield. So we decided I'll show some mercy, and I'll allow these hammer guard to run away. Perhaps far too kind of me, but hey. Under normal circumstances I would not, but just the fact that these guys, they could have left as soon as Noah did, but they hung around, so we were pretty happy with that. So I thought I'll give them that one. And because the boys over here actually handled things very well, and they wiped out a lot of dwarves. dwarves. They had their cavalry through as well, so yeah, you're seeing a lot of these dwarves. They were routing. They might have come back, but they got dealt with. Now, what we decided as well is, because there's no real need to kill these here yet. We didn't have to, but I thought we shall, just because in reality Noah would have put them in front of us, so we might as well just hit them in melee. It's not going to take too many casualties for me to do that. I'll jump up to 2 speed because it is a bit of shuffling around now as we prepare for the closing stages of the battle. Overall, we're at 66 for 71, so we've started to pull ahead now, which that's what you'll generally always see from attackers once the front line falls and the defenders have to set up again. They're always going to lose a lot of men in the retreat. It's just the way that things go. Archive Reavers, perhaps not so kind, trying to chase off some hammers, but that's fair. I'm not gonna make anybody do anything. Confrontation over here, wiping out what's left of these Hiriak, and engaging this unit of Hiriak from both sides as well. Hernadane Berserkers on there, and then some Rudar Clansmen coming up from this side too. Shaken already. I expected them to break almost immediately, but they actually held quite well. Then I'm getting a unit of Hernadane Pikes, nice and beefy unit of Hernadane Pikes, and although I'm going to wipe these guys out, I'm not going to just do it in a silly way. I'm gonna try and just kill these guys quite efficiently. So I want to line my Hernadane Pikes up nicely and go for it. But we'll just see how this actually goes for me, because that's a unit of 113 up against 156 of these Hernadane Pikes backed up by other units. Other units pulling on back, because I genuinely think these Hernadane Pikes are going to be able to handle that nice and carefully. Ah, that's Hirioth, not Hiriak. We'll have a quick glance at what the defenders have arrayed in front of us now. There's the Elven King's Palace Guard there. Again, they would be normally pulled back, but they're just sort of standing in our way right now. But what they really have settled up here are some hammers. Exhausted. They'll get a little bit of energy back, but not much. Some spearmen there. Some Knights of the Silver Swan. Some Belfast Marines out of ammunition. Definitely out of ammunition, surely. Yes, definitely. Dang, their axes do look really nice, don't they? I think, who was it recently? I think it was Jar Jar Binks. He asked me, like, what do I think is actually the nicest looking army? I think I said Rudauer or Gondor, or Cardland too. But genuinely, Dol Amroth is tough to beat. They're one of the most, they're lovely looking guys. We've got what's left of this ballista team here. They will do something for sure. Nicely armoured up pikemen, Darnell Pikes, some Belfast Marines there with their ammunition. That's 2 units with their ammo. That's a bit scary. Actually, sorry, that's 1 unit. We're just seeing some extra flags from the Orc Hunters. Then the Haven Guard and some more Knights of the Silver Swan. And the Mithril Guard too, with some Hiripeng there in the back. That we'll have to kill our way through. So, a lot of messy units, a lot of elite units. Balance of power is still definitely in our favour. Now let's see what's happened with this confrontation. I am getting my butt kicked here, which really shocked me. Oh, yeah, as well as that, the Inquisitors, the Witch Realm Inquisitors charging into the Sindar, kind of struggled. Sindar actually really enjoying this fight, which surprised me up against the damn, Witch Realm Inquisitors. One of the best melee cav in the game. They're winning a bit now, and I'm getting my Coalfell Maidens over here too. Just making this a bit of a cavalry fest in the middle of the town. How many Sindar left? 9 now. But I get my Coldfell Maidens in. There's 33 of them. What do I end up with? 30 already? 25, 24? God damn, they're getting dropped.
Men have slain the enemy general. Without him, his troops will lose their will to fight.
But yeah, I didn't feel there would be much more use for my cav after this point anyway, so that's why I was a little bit just silly with them there. Definitely would be some use for my pikemen though. And these Hirioth are still doing damn well. So it shocked me. I tried to reform my pikes, into something a bit more efficient. My berserkers, only 16 of them left, and their hit points will be pretty well buggered. Gondorian archers getting around the side here against these Elven King Palace Guard, really just sort of trying to surround them. We've got to kill them to get through. Diurnal pikes moving up. Rudar clansmen, I just had them here blocking the path. I think we still had some ranged weapons, was the thing. So our plan was to sort of hold fire until we had used all of our ranged weapons, but I don't really know where they are. I think it's the crossbows. Yes, we sell some Urkai crossbows, and the plan was to basically just hold here until the crossbows moved up and fired, generally, because this was still something pretty scary to us. Hereditary pikes dropping like flies, as you can see. So I get the bloody Ferodrum javelins around the side. Should have tried to force them around there too. You can see a lot of the... I sent in some swordsmen there too. They just got eviscerated. But it's working now. Now the Ferodrum javelins have thrown themselves in. But no, those Hirioth there really held out way better than I expected them to. We're having some good success up against the Palace Guard. It's nice when we move to a new section of the battlefield because it's not really, there's no corpses on the ground, sort of lag it out. It's all nice and fresh. Yeah, so what we ended up with 71 for 75 now. Those Palace Guard are being dealt with, and the Sindar, pretty expensive unit, wiped out. Not many Hirioth left now that we're sort of getting around them, but my Hereditary pikes have kind of been dealt with. At least taking down a half. Some Naz High coming over here. Just help finish it off. Scourge Raiders. I think there was maybe was there a unit over here that they were off dealing with? No, I don't think so. Yeah. Let's zoom on out. Check the battlefield out a bit. Scourge Raiders there. Don't think they might have ammo. It's hard to say with Scourge Raiders. Not many of them left. Still, actually, Jeepers. Still 30 of the Palace Guard left. Yeah, Jeepers, they've got a lot more killing to do. The Berserkers have been sent forward. The Berserkers are an unfortunate choice for here. We'd really want the Berserkers to be coming in, breaking through Dwarven armor and Dol Amroth armor, rather than getting sort of parried away by the Elves. The Elves here have been dealt with, and there's 2 units of Hiri Peng, one there and one there, but after what I had suffered dealing with that unit of Hirioth, I was not willing to go off and attack these two more Elven units. I wanted to deal with what's left up on the top of the hill, and then we'll come down and deal with that. Yeah, Elven King's Palace Guard starting to drop now. They are throwing. So getting their axes thrown right into the face of this line. I'll move back to normal speed now. Sorry, let's move to 6 times speed. Wanderers and Emmerdale coming forward. Scourge Raiders will definitely win that confrontation, but the Wanderers will rack up a few kills, no doubt. Rangers and melee, as I say, I talk about Rangers and melee a lot. I just enjoy that. I like using them in melee. Belfast Marines, some of them are out of ammunition. This full unit waiting here, I don't think it's fired off many shots or loosed many volleys from their ammunition supplies. Oh, Ballistic Crew really getting into it with the wrong forces, but still, I admire their spirit. Hacking and slashing away at these Wanderers in Emmerdale, but they seem to have they've got things under control now. And we're just sort of wiping out what is their fodder at this stage. Hey, there they are. We knew they would appear once again. It's these 2 men. They're firing straight up, which should I be going for the Belfast Marines, I think. I think I just had them here on fire at will. Wow. They won't be doing much there. I really should have them firing at the Belfast Marines. They'll have a little bit of a better chance there. Nah, they won't be racking up too many kills in their current position. Or only having 2 of them as well. They just won't be doing damage very quickly. So what I've got left at this point is really underwhelming. I've got my Ferenidine Pikes, my Reforged Javelins are nice in a fight. I've got my handful of Berserkers, my 2 Archers up there, of course. I've got 1 Enslaver who managed to survive. He's good for the morale buff that he'll supply to my men. So that's nice. And I've got my my Coalfell Maidens, who aren't really going to be able to break through that position too well. Apart from that, our allies, what we've got a real lack of here is elite units. And then that tight choke point up there, it's going to be a nuisance, I think. Oh, they've already gone down to warmed up. They've done quite well. My Heredine Berserkers, they'll kill at least 16 men, but being as injured as they are, we don't know how much more than that. I've got my Clansmen here, ready to sort of push through the line, already in shield wall. They do look good armoured up like that. The Berserkers, I like to count the Berserkers as an elite unit, but they'll be kind of beaten up too. This is kind of crazy. The Elven King's Palace Guard is getting forced up into this corner by the advancing Goblin Band and Raiders. It might be Reavers. Rakai Archers there. We've got the Witchers too, but yes, having those javelins is pretty unnerving. This was another thing, we weren't really wanting to commit the main attack until those Witchers had properly gone for it. Oh. Did they have that cancelled? Looks like they had it cancelled. Oh, Belfast Marines. Throwing right into the Witchers, and that's a lot of Witcher damage. A few of them dropped already. The rest getting hurt. Another volley onto the Witchers. Only 8 of them left. Ah. Yeah, it's good at this. You know, these volleys aren't coming into the rest of us, but and that's the Witcher's gone. Right, so that's what happened to them. I did wonder. No, it's like, as I say, I get why people don't like Witchers. I do totally understand, but like, you've got to be careful. But if you've got stuff to counter them, you can wipe them out. There's a lot of other units that can do that sort of damage quite quickly. Pinithkill and Cav used a little bit early. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to force them through. He's getting some of them through. And his general's there too. Oh dear, he shouldn't be doing this while he's still got sort of some men on the field. Yeah. No, if this line was a little bit thinner, then they can get through, and then even if they get, say, 1 or 2 rear charges, fantastic, but they're just not able to do that. So it's unfortunate, but got a lot of these volleys coming in now that the Witchers are gone. They don't really need to save much range power. My Berserkers there on the left flank, just trying to get them in a fight. I think Berserkers might be wrong with this, but I think Berserkers also cause fear to enemy units. So that was a reason I wanted them to be up close to the fight. If we could just have some of these pikemen wavering, but the Knights of the Silver Swan buff morale, the Mithril Guard buff morale, it's the Haven Guard are in there too with the general. You know, there's a lot of morale buffing effects going on there right now. There, a lot of the Isengard forces coming forward now by Rudar Clansmen. I think it's sort of time to try and bust through that line. Or at least sort of dent it deeply. That's Gondor off the field. Alright, 76 or 79, so we're still ahead. But it's just they've got a lot of quality left at this time. Inquisitor is just swinging away. Again, just trying to force their way through, but having some difficulty with it. I think that rogue arrow was one of mine. But, yeah, no, the Scourge Raiders just engaging as they can. Let's come nice and close. And as beefy as that line is, just about everything, with the exception of this one unit Mithril Guard, everything is in. You see this push now from my Rudar Clansmen, just trying to bulge out that right hand side, get us some flat ground, and hopefully sort of bust through there, get something the Cav can maybe use, or maybe we can just get a unit around. And I make some success. You can sort of see it there, this little green bulge emerging. Well, you can see it right there too. And I actually managed to get on through. Almost. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting through as best as I can. But just no matter what, I can't get through that last line. He's free. This is where they're quite clever. They are able to sort of pull this fresh unit. Well, not this fresh unit. It was engaged over there. But since we weren't pressuring that, that was my general. I actually... I used to put my general inside of Rudar Clansmen. I can explain that another time, but that's what I used to do with him. I put him inside the Berserkers now. So, no, he died in that push, which is unfortunate, and now this unit's routing. That's a big goof for me. Really big oof right there, I'm afraid. But still, they weren't really going to be able to break through because of this unit of hammerers right there. And because we weren't really pressuring this side too much, they were able to sort of quite freely bring them around. But still, my allies are thunking in there, and Nerdy Egg really is following me up. So that's good for him. Well, good off him. I should have maybe had my Hereditary Berserkers right in behind those clansmen. Some Montreal Inquisitors managed to worm their way through and all that chaos though. There's only 2 of them there. What would be quite an idea... I know he's coming right at the back now, yeah. What would be a bit of an idea is to just let the other 2 die. No, they're not going to die for a little while, they're all over here. Because when those 2 die, these 2 will be much more responsive. Right now, they're always, every time you give them an order, it's always going to be a case of, oh, well, I've got to go back and get this guy. Blackwatch Legion, as I've said it before, really best pushing unit in the game. This is a nice thin point here, they can maybe rattle up through, but they just don't, I don't know if they're in like shield wall right now. This Gundabad guard managed to get on through. Any backstabs are incredibly powerful at this stage. I've got near enough a full unit of Rudar Swordmen. I think they had actually been in reserve. I think I had forgotten about them until like this stage. So they're coming forward just to really thicken up this line. We're not really worried about rangers at this point. You know, we know they don't have any rangers. We know they don't have any throwing weapons. So this blob is not something that we're really worried about. All the way along the line, it's sort of defeat is certain. Defeat is almost certain. Balance of power is creeping, and the percentage is creeping as well. But all the while, we're doing damage to these Mithril Guard, doing damage to the Gundabad Guard too. What we got here on this right hand side? Gosh, it's messy, isn't it? It's just this black and brown, you know, mob of wild men in Urukai just swarming forward. A few of my Hereditary pikes trying to form up, get some stabs in there. They're also morale buffing to my own men. Not that I've really got many of my own men on this front line anymore. Well, I've got a little bit of swordsmen there. Coalfell Maidens, we're just waiting for their opportunity really. Frodrum Javelins, I knew that they were frightening. I knew that they caused fear, so I wanted to get them up forward. This left position is kind of the weakest. Oh god, no, there's sort of 2 units of Knights of the Silver Swan over there. Sort of spread out, and the Haven Guard too. Even though this side is like clunkier, well, like it looks chunkier, it's probably the weakest because it is just a unit of Hammers of Gundabad. Mixed in with some Knights of the Silver Swan, gosh, this is such a messy engagement. Everybody's just worked their way around everywhere now. This sort of kink is kind of working out well for us. We're sort of able to do some good damage there. My Hereditary Pikes, how are they getting on? I'm trying to look at them. Only a military genius is going to win this? Yeah, dear me. Whereas they're doing alright all across the front, really. This last 2 Inquisitors, the only 2 that didn't really make it through. What I was kind of regretting here is because of this blob, your units are like classed as fighting, even though the models are not actually engaging. So they are getting tired. So that's why I've stopped my Rudar Swordsmen there, and I've sort of just set them up to relax, just to get some energy. You know, there's no point in wasting their energy right now. That's one of our biggest benefits, I think, in this stage. Because they've got all of their units are actually engaged, all of their units are getting tired. Whereas we can have reserves, we can have men just waiting aside until the right moment. Urukai infantry there, just getting clattered by those hammerers. Belfast Marines just engaged there. We've still got 10,000 frames left, which is insane. And we don't really have that much left in reserve. Speaking about reserves, we've got these crossbowmen just trying to find an opportunity to fight. Angmar halberds coming forward. And I think that's it really. I'm not seeing anything just standing around. Yeah, no, nothing. Yeah, Reforged javelins, as I say, there's just too much fighting on the front. I didn't want to throw them on in. Kind of regret that because I think their AP could have really been beneficial on the front. But as you can see, balance of power is even now. Sort of almost everywhere. But so as we have started to just tire out our enemy and sort of started to do some damage to them, it's turning around a little bit. The berserkers there, fighting off against some very skilled units of the Haven Guard and such. Yeah, these men are just resting now as I can. Gosh, those are lovely hammers. So that's the Isengard general taken out, which, I don't know, I think that's maybe a bit of a... I did the exact same thing. So this is when we thought, you know, I've seen my allies do it, maybe I can too. This position is really quite thin, so I tried to aim for them to come through the right side, but when it gets to this sort of blob, you get kind of, what are those things called, just plinko machines or something, where you just get rattled about. That's sort of generally what's happened to them here, and my maidens are doing their best, but they're struggling. So no, I maybe should have waited just a little bit longer, because this position on the right is weakening. But when you're sort of stuck this deep in, you kind of have to just go for it. I get 3 of them through there. They kind of start going back, and this is what I'm talking about. As soon as I got them through, I was trying to just get them away, but they keep wanting to go back for the rest. So once I had gotten them there, at this point what I should do, as painful as it may be, just wait for the rest of the sisters to die. Sorry, I'm playing too much like, I'm just Sisters of Battle, too much 40k shenanigans. Wait for the rest of my maidens to die, and then come in for some charges, because they'll be charging it much more efficiently if they don't have to worry about this girl here and the rest that are just trying to shuffle around inside. So that's what I really should have done. Elders of the Elven King are still waiting here too. They've used up their ammo though, and I'm not charging them. I'm getting a charge from my swordsman now. A few, I'm going to call them charges, into the back of those hammers of Gundabad. Maidens have, I think, a charge of 2 and a basic attack of 6, so it's never going to be too much unless you've got a full unit off them coming in for a slam. And these last 2 maidens are sort of routing now. But it was a good go. Happy enough I did it. I should have waited if I had just waited a little bit longer, I think it would have turned out a lot better. Come through sometime around about now, I'd say. But all the while, even though victory is clear for them in some points, and the balance of power is starting to shake, we are making progress here. We are weakening them down. Nas High starting to struggle here. My 2 bowmen, still firing off shots. Shaking. But still firing. Oh, that was a weird trajectory there. I don't know how that'll come out in the video, but that guy wailed a fair bit. Reforged javelins, as I say, they should have been moved in. You know, I just think their AP would be great here. We've got the Bane Guard, I know, but I really think we're lacking AP on the front line. Defeat is almost a certainty across some of these stages for them, as the Urukai pikes really start to move up into the flat ground and get used a bit more efficiently. Reforged javelins coming forward now. My berserkers are long dead, and this is the last of our forces coming up this hill now. Crossbows, I don't really know what the crossbows are. I think they've used up their ammo. Tried to use it as best they can. Defeat is seeming almost certain for us now. Let's just zoom on in. I don't think we shouldn't crash again, I wouldn't say. Still got some of my pikes standing. They're not feeling too good about this fight, but they're still jabbing away. The Nazhai fighting individually here. I was chuffed to bits to see this. The Nazhai, even though as a whole they seem to be struggling, if they can just be reliably killing men off and just making this right side a little more secure for us, maybe we can do something with that. Because this left side is pretty unflinching right now. We've got a lot of elite units over there. And yeah, no, my Rudar swordsman just not really able to get to the front. Perhaps I should have sort of pulled them out, tightened them up on the right, and tried to force them around there. That would probably be better. These Angmar Marauders were trying to do that, but they've broken now. And that's really going to sort of empty out the line. I need to sort of be filling it. I think Angmar's just a bit of defeat there. That would have been sort of the last of his units. They're being pursued by some hammerers who are sort of falling into us now. So we'll be smashing them up. Again, Frodrum Javelins. Okay, I'm charging them now. But they were just sort of waiting there. Again, I didn't want to tire them out. But I really should have just gotten them stuck in. Looks like my one... Oh no, he's the captain of the Frodrum Javelins. I thought that was my one enslaver. Nazhai on the right, doing what they can, doing their best. One, yeah, just... Let's see, I'm really just quite surprised at how spread out these units got as this fight went on. You know, you've got Haven Guard. That's a Haven Guard, but the other Haven Guard is all the way over there. Yeah, it's weird. Just how people got bopped around. But no, I think had there been an elf commander, I think this definitely would have been a pretty one-sided affair. So I'm glad that the boys stayed, because there's a lot of battles where you have where somebody leaves early on and it is an immediate just, you know, every mass disconnect. So I was glad that they hung around, and we had a really fun battle out of it. And as I say, I think I learned a lot from this battle. You know, there's a lot of mistakes I made here that I definitely, I'd like to think I don't make those mistakes again. My Herendane Berserkers now sort of getting stuck in. They'll do all right. They'll get some decent kills, but the Haven Guard are there to face them. Yeah.
Seems almost certain.
No, and as I say, I do. In so many of my early reports, I talk so much about how little I like the Rudar Axeman, and that's definitely, I'm definitely dead against that now. Now I go for a clear sort of almost 50-50. You know, say if I'm bringing 5, I'll bring say 3 swordsmen and 2 axemen. Of course, it depends on who I'm fighting. If I'm going into a fight against a bunch of dwarves, I'll grab a lot more axemen. But it's still like because you see my swordsmen here, they're kind of bouncing off. They'll kill the Belfast Marines easy enough. They're about a counter push there. Kill the Belfast Marines easy enough, but apart from that, they're really just there as meat shields for the pikes. You know, whereas the Frodrum Javelins with their AP may not be the most skilled unit in the world, but you know, with their AP, they're able to deal some good damage. How many Berserkers down? They'll be down to 13 now. They're actually holding quite well. I think though, it's the little things, like if well, it's quite a big thing really. Had I put my general in with my Berserkers, or just generally had my general died there, had he just been anywhere else, then that unit, because I had 80 Rudar clansmen there that ended up routing. And those 80 Rudar clansmen, they wouldn't have racked up many kills, no doubt, but they would have done something there on that right side, and they would have killed a few more. And maybe I could have just chilled them out for a minute and then just launched into another push to just completely bust out that line. You know, that could have been good, but it was the fact that like my general went down that really shattered their morale quite hard, and had them running. So that was a shame. I think I don't know how we used our crossbows. Yeah, we definitely should have used the Witchers later. It was an agreement that we said, you know, we'll use the Witchers before we actually engage. And I know why we thought that, but you know, those Belfast Marines ripped them apart. And if we had just gotten them to use their Belfast Marine ammunition on the main line, as painful as that would have been for the main line, then they could have come up and won this battle for us, no doubt. All in all, though, yeah, it was pretty good. What were we at this point? 92 for 91, which is, all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. But it is the supreme elite forces of Dol Amroth that are remaining, and there's a few Mithril Guard dotted around too. Let's see how many Mithril Guard. 15. Yeah, okay, cool. Not heaps of Mithril Guard. There's still some Elders of the Elven King over there, of course, and some Hiri Peng from Noah. Overall, there's another 3. Well, there's this one, and there's 2 more Hiri Peng. So pretty close overall. I think we certainly made a lot of mistakes. I should have been pressuring those bridges. I think I shouldn't have been so free to lose my unit of Rudar marksmen. Like these at the end of the battle, you'll see. I don't even know where they are. Oh, there they are. I really want to just move them close. I want to try and just rack up some kills with them. You'll see at the end, like this whole unit of Rudar marksmen gets, oh, I think 15 kills or something like that. So it's very, using them in the way I did, although it made sense to me at the time, and it still makes sense to me, I just disagree with it. So I'm not that frivolous now with my archers, even on the attack. But you're seeing here, like, we're having an okay fight. My Rudar swordsmen are doing alright. And I think that what we should have tried to do here, or what I should have been thinking about a lot more, was just the exhaustion. Like, all of these men, as elite as they are absolutely exhausted. And had some of our units been totally fresh, like my Forge and Javelins right now are winded, but had they been coming in here against exhausted men, being totally fresh, that's a big deal. You know, a relatively skilled unit cracking into a very skilled unit with that sort of difference in energy is a really, yeah, big difference. So yeah, that difference is the difference. Great stuff, right? But no, it would have had quite an effect. Oh, come on, take out the banner carrier. I'll be happy enough with that. It's the banner carrier of the Haven Knights, Haven Guard though, sorry, so it's the general there too. Oh yeah, no, I think the general comes over and kills him. I think I was watching this. I love that, you know. That on his back, that was really cool. Yeah, there's a few Haven Guards standing around him. No, he goes down, damn. Get up, no! Gosh damn it. Banner carrier will live today. Yeah, a few Rudar swordsmen just chipping away at the Mithril Guard. We're getting him. We are getting him. Little by little. I love Rudar swordsmen. It's I still use them, and I still do prefer them to Axemen, just because that beefy ass shield they've got. And they do a lot of damage from men at arms. You know, that's one of the things I love. Like I'm a real men at arms fan, so I like to use a lot of them. And it's nice to just have a unit that can dish out some good damage as a man at arms, and you know, beefy unit size along with some good morale. So Rudar is a good pick for them, for me generally, I would say. I've said that a few times now, but yeah, we know announcer. You don't have to keep rubbing it in. All in all, though, yeah, I've seen Eric around a fair bit more. He has definitely improved, but I'm sure he's gone into the red limit substantially there with, well, a little bit, because I think you can get 6 Gondor infantry before the cost increases. So he's gone a little bit deep into that. And yeah, just no armor upgrades for Gondor is a big deal. I think had, say, I don't know really, because Gondor would have, going toe to toe with Dol Amroth's men, maybe Gondor would have fared a bit better. Because I think and it was also kind of the lack of elites. I think the lack of elites across the whole board for our side was what really kicked us. We had the black, we don't have the hammer guard, I guess. We had the black guard. We only have 1 unit of trolls. I get that, but no, and you can see we're sort of getting riled off now. All my men generally running off, and we are approaching the end of the fight. Nice big blob of corpses there. Another one down there. Yeah, good stuff. As I say, maybe, had I just totally ignored the elves, which we could have done, you know, maybe we could have won, but I don't think so. Like, you can see what they've got left here. It's a lot of the Knights of Silver Swan, fair bit of the Haven Guard. I don't know. Oh, we've still got the Berserkers up here. We'll keep an eye on them, because these Berserkers will kill a few more of the Belfast Marines, I suspect. Oh, they're trying to get together. Yeah, they're going to get backstabbed. Damn. That was us. Okay. All in all, though, had Noah been there, even just to decide who to and not to shoot, that would have been a big change. Overall, my men, yeah, Rudar Clansmen, these are the guys that did the pushing, getting 40 kills in that scenario, because that was the first engagement that they had really been put into. So they did quite well there. You know, that was 40 hammers, good and bad, that they wiped out. So I'm chuffed to bits, with a few Belfast Marines no doubt too. So I'm pretty happy with them pushing through and doing that. The other guys did a fair bit better, and you can see they only suffered 116 casualties. A bunch of them were taken prisoner, and then a few of them got away. So yeah, no, they routed way earlier than a Rudar man should. The noble hillmen of the northeast, and or probably the north when we're talking about the entire Middle Earth, northwest even. Rudar Clansmen there again, racking up a few more kills. That's more what you'd really want to see. Herenidine Pikes, I was pretty happy with them generally. Like I know they suffered quite a lot of casualties to the Hirioth, but at the end of the day, yeah, the Hirioth are a good unit, and I underestimated that. I was kind of in the Shogun 2 mindset of, yeah, my units are in Yari Wall. Of course I'll beat anything as long as I'm right in front of it, which that's not the case. The Dunman Pikes, they're doing alright. 91 kills is alright for a Dunman Pikeman. You'd want to see, I'd want to see a bit more than that for sure, but they're not even that cheap, you know, they're quite expensive. 500, 550, I think, for Dunman Pike. And that's with a melee upgrade too, as I always get my pikemen if I can afford it. My swarm of swordsmen here, a nice mix of kills, but generally anything above 50 I'm happy with, and the two of them are 49, I'm okay with that. Above 70 is pretty great, and then 88 is good too. 47 is alright, I'm not upset about that. Enslavers, I use them quite early, so these aren't like high quality units that I'm killing off, but it's some good guys I'm wiping out there. So I'm glad I used them when I did, because I think it got us through with a lot more manpower than we really could have gone through there with. And my Berserkers took a bit of a beating, but again, I'm glad I used them the way I did. I always use my elites early. It's just the way that works for me. Those Troll Hunters, using a lot of volleys against the Paratel champions, I was glad with. That was the way that I was happy to use them. I think I used off far too many volleys, just cracking right into the front of those warriors of Khazad-dûm. That was silly. That was not a smart move from me. But yeah, generally they were okay. And then I let them, because they could have been shield wall pushing units in the later stages. So I should have been more careful with them afterward. And even like while I was using them. I shouldn't have sent them to the front line. I should have sent my swordsmen to the front line. You know, use up their ammo, pull them back for pushing at some point. Or maybe just use them to push right then, not fight with them. Fraudulent Javelins, absolutely chuffed to bits with them. Racked up some nice kills. Actually, sorry, no, it was the Fraudulent Javelins that used up their ammunition against the Paratel champions, I think. But even then, they came into the fight and they were mincing people. I should have sent them into the fight earlier. Just that right side, up against the Hammerers, you know. A nicely non-armoured hillman using a big club against a heavily armoured dwarf with a perfectly made hammer. You know, who wins that engagement? But yeah, it would have been quite nice. And see, so 18 kills from these guys. So I'm happy enough to lose units, but losing them down to the level that I did, I should have pulled them out so much earlier. That was just silly of me. The other guys racking up 74 kills. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's nice. Coldfell Maidens, good javelin throw today from them. They got a good bit in there. Shouldn't have used up my javelins against the Bows of Imendure, as I said before. That was just a silly move, but hey, you know, it is what it is. A nerdy egg there had a very tough push through the Valley of Death alongside his buddy Eric. but he handled it pretty damn well for the most part. Unfortunate about the Witchers. We did say, like he said, I'll use my Witchers first, as I said, and we said that was okay. I should have clicked. We all should have clicked. Shouldn't have done it. It was a dumb move from all of us there. Apart from that, yeah, good move. Good proactive stuff with the Inquisitors too, both on the initial attack and on the secondary attack. That was cool to see. Eric again did the same. Didn't work out quite as well because the sort of softer and less melee defense off the Pinnith Gillen Cav, but it would have been so much bloodier if they had gone through, you know, for sure. Kind of goofed up with the treb, I think. As I say, I generally when you're out of trebuchet ammo, you've got to be so dang careful with that rotting meat, because just about every battle that I've done a battle report for, it's worked against the attackers at the end of it. So it's just, I'd probably refrain from doing it full stop once you're out of ammunition. Derek there, alongside me, we did good, I'd like to think. I should have definitely pushed across the bridges. I shouldn't have really been so like, hey, yo, you know, like, let's go across this land bridge together. There's just not enough room for us. So, not enough room for two armies to smush our way through there. So that was, I should have just gotten my troll hunter, my troll hunters, down that bridge, volley fired into those Iriek and gotten stuck in. Just made them have to like respond to me and helped them out that way instead. As for the defenders there, Cole did good. I think he was really kind of facing off against us without too much Elven support, really, I would say. A lot of Elven support killing my archers, but at the end of the day that didn't really benefit anybody too much. So all in all, yeah, it's not too bad. Good to reinforce him. Good working alongside the Hiriek for sure. That was smart moves. Again, same. I'm going to say the exact same thing for Tolkien. They both handled that really well. And nice. Can't really think. Good countering generally. Crossbows. Whenever they popped up, there was a lot of arrow fire coming into them. Tolkien himself, over there on the right, Valley of Death by himself. He had a nice little Noah front line to like hold alongside, and it was good. I really enjoyed how much he was trying to defend those bridges. Usually people will just let the attackers advance all the way up to the valley, and they just won't touch them on the bridges. So it was cool there was an engagement there as well. That was a lot of fun. Massive captures there, 556 captured. I think that was a lot of. I think Eric had a lot of his men captured, unfortunately. And then Noah himself, sucks that he had to go, but that's really the perfect thing that I'm talking about, just like nicely setting up your boys. Now he actually racked up the most kills. Now a lot of his kills were fodder, though, because everybody was on fire at well. So it's still like, yeah, very well played. But it just kind of shows the real power of Tol Falas as a map. It is exceptional. I think if you've got to defend a map, got to win. I think you can't go too far wrong with Tol Falas. Like if you want to do a 3v5, it's probably the best place for it. A lot of fun to play on too, on the attack and defense. Apart from that, I think we are sorted. Only crashed once. Good stuff. Yeah. I don't know why I did. A lot of buildings here, I guess, but wasn't the end of the world. Nope. Thank you.